Hi Ryan, I'm Yvonne. I'm a coach for life beyond belief, here to help you dismantle the illusions created by your beliefs. I understand we're here to talk about what's going on at work.
Yeah. I seem to run into the same old thing wherever I work. I'm so frustrated, I just want to quit, but I don't know where I'd go that would be any better. I've tried that before.
Okay, I get that you're pretty tired of dealing with the same old thing wherever you go. How about giving me an example of what's happening that you're unhappy about right now?
Here's a typical example. We were just getting started on a new marketing plan, and marketing is my specialty. The owners and upper management have decided to go with an old model which is really outdated and won't work. I try to tell them we need to do it differently, but they just ignore me and expect me to fall into line and work with a dinosaur marketing strategy. It just won't work. And they won't hear me.
So, would you say that the repetitive pattern is about you not being heard or heeded when you speak up?
Yeah. I've got all this education and experience and it doesn't seem to make any difference. I get so angry when this happens, I just want to tell them all to. Well, you know what I mean.
So you try to get them to see the possibilities you see, and they don't respond the way you would like.
That's an understatement. They pretty much just ignore me except to tell me what to do.
I can see you are feeling quite agitated about this situation.
That would be a good way to put it.
So let's make a shift here. I'd like you to start paying attention to your breath. Just notice for a moment how you're breathing.
It's pretty shallow, I'd say.
Yes, it is. You're only breathing in your upper chest right now. That's part of the body's fight or flight mechanism for when we are facing danger. There's something about the scene you've been focusing on that is upsetting for you, so your body is reacting to that.
Yeah, come to think of it, I breathe this way a lot when I'm upset or frustrated.
It's the body's way of getting you ready to take action, by moving you away from any deeper feelings of fear or sadness you may be experiencing. So, since there really is no imminent danger here at the moment, let's take a bit of time to focus on the breath. As you allow your attention to rest on the breath, see if you can start breathing more from the belly, instead of the upper part of your lungs. There's no rush here, just lightly moving the breath down through the lungs, and into the belly, and back out again, letting it out completely as you do.
I've never paid much attention to how I breathe before. I can feel myself relaxing a bit when I focus and breathe more deeply.
Yes, the breath is key in making any kind of shift. You need to let go enough to allow something new, and your breath can take you there. So let's just keep breathing nice, full breaths for a moment. Letting the thoughts just drift on by as you refocus over and over on the breathing. Relaxing, just allowing, for the moment.
I really do feel much more relaxed, and kind of open right now.
Great. Now I'm going to ask you some questions, but I want you to stay focused on your chest while you consider the questions. Okay?
Okay.
What do you notice in your body when you consider the scenario of your boss not responding to you the way you'd like?
I just get mad and I wish he'd stop being so right about everything and listen to me.
That's actually what you think about what's happening. Now, focus again down in your body. What do you notice?
I feel tightness in my shoulders and my jaw. I also feel tightness in my chest and like there's a fist in my gut, that's really tight, and kind of twisting around.
You've just described what anger feels like in your body. That would be the tightness in your shoulders and jaw. You've also described how you experience sadness, the tightness in your chest, and fear, which is the fist in your gut.
Fear? I'm not afraid, I'm just mad and frustrated.
Yes, I get that you're really angry about all this, but here's the thing about anger, it isn't the primary feeling. Anger shows up, so that we won't feel so powerless and helpless in our fear or sadness. More often than not, we completely miss those feelings, and only become aware when the anger shows up.
I didn't know that. I get this a lot, especially with my bosses. but never really gave it a lot of consideration. I just get mad and then my mind rehashes all kinds of imaginary scenarios over and over. It's so frustrating.
That is not an unusual way of handling fear in our culture. We learned ways to distance ourselves from it, such as with anger or distractions like TV, drinking, drugs, avoiding sex, work, gambling, you name it.
Ouch. I get into some of those things after work. I just don't have any energy, or will to do much of anything after a day of frustration and BS.
I understand, you just need to get away somehow.
Yeah, that's about it.
Today I'm going to invite you to do the opposite of that. It may seem counterintuitive, but just go with it as best you can, okay?
Okay, I'll give it a try.
So, let's get back to focusing on the feeling of tightness in your gut for a moment. Let's just be present to it and let the thoughts about it go for now. Just observing the tightness with a kind of light curiosity. Are there any images that show up as you do this?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there's one that I'm kind of surprised about. I can see my dad standing in front of me. I'm really small, and I'm excited about having discovered something. I'm trying to tell him and he just pats me on the head and turns away, ignoring me. I was devastated. I thought he'd be so excited too, but he doesn't even want to hear about it. He doesn't care.
So you can feel the pain of your father turning away, and not being excited with you, and it sounds like you decided he didn't care about you in that moment.
Of course. What kind of person would ignore you if they cared about you?
I don't know, Ryan. But you were very hurt. In order to deal with the hurt, you had to do something, as we all do, and so you made some decisions about yourself and about your dad, and by extension about people with some kind of authority over you. This was not likely the only time this kind of thing happened between you and your dad, was it?
No, it sure wasn't.
Okay, let's just take a minute here before we explore the beliefs that were created around this, and breathe into the tightness in your chest and stomach. Just be as present to it as you can, without judging it in any way. Notice this is just a feeling. It isn't anything you have to get away from, it's not the enemy, it's just a messenger. So let's just be with it with a kind of open curiosity again.
It really isn't so bad. When I let myself just witness it, I don't feel so out of control and powerless.
Yes. When you can truly be a witness to the feelings that show up, they don't have to get so big to get your attention.
Yeah. I can feel myself relaxing again. I don't feel so tight and all knotted up.
Great. Now here's the thing about what's really causing the discomfort and frustration. Let's take the scenario you described with your dad, which sounds like it was a defining moment for you. Let's look at what really happened. You were excited about something, you tried to share it with your dad and he patted you on the head and turned away from you. Is that correct?
Yes, that pretty much sums it up.
The truth of the matter is you don't know what he was doing before you got there, or what was on his mind, or really why he turned away, do you?
No, I guess not. I just assumed he didn't care.
That's the point. You assumed what you didn't know. That's what we do. We fill in the blanks with our assumptions. From there we make decisions about ourselves, our lives, and other people, which we end up playing out over and over again.
Oh man, that's exactly what's been happening. When my bosses don't respond the way I want them to, I just relive that decision all over again. I would never have put those two things together, but now that I'm in touch with the feelings, I see the connection.
Exactly. The feelings are the messengers, telling you that a painful memory has been triggered. Now that you are aware that your original conclusion wasn't necessarily the truth, you can open to other possibilities, instead of reliving the old painful ones, based on erroneous assumptions. The truth is, you don't know what's possible. You don't know what's going on when people do what they do. From the space of not knowing, you are now free to wonder about what is possible.
I really don't know. There's a kind of freedom in being able to admit that to myself. It's like there's space inside me.
So, here's a great wonder question for you, to get the ball rolling. I wonder what my job would be like if I didn't believe that I wasn't heard and that they didn't care. I wonder.
I get it. I just relax into the space of not knowing and wonder about what's possible. Wow, that almost sounds too simple.
It is simple, Ryan, but our well-established patterns tend to not make it that easy. You need to keep bringing yourself back to the open space of not knowing. It's also important to remember that wondering isn't about figuring anything out or analyzing. It's about staying open to something you hadn't thought of before. It's really an attitude more than a doing thing. What's important then is to act on the guidance you get. Every step you take in a new direction is a step away from the unhappiness and frustration.
Thanks. I can do that.